Hi guys, Maikeru here. This is my personal top 10 Slayer tasks to do. In this video I'm going to showcase the ones that I enjoy doing the most, how much XP and GP those tasks give, and if they have any requirements. Your list of top Slayer creatures may be different to mine, but these are my personal favourites. Some are really good for XP, some are really good for GP, and some are a good mixture of both. And I also take into consideration the tasks that I enjoy actually doing, because you want to have fun with what you're doing at the same time. I do have guides on most of the monsters I list here, so you can check the description for some help on those tasks if you do want to know how to do them. With that being said, let's get into the video, starting off with number 10. Number 10 is Vile Blooms. These drop the Blaster Fusion boots, and they're very good GP, with some decent Slayer XP at the same time. On my hardcore Iron Man, I really enjoyed doing the Luminous Snagglers, and they require 95 Slayer. They are the lower level Vile Bloom that I would advise doing. They're around 350k Slayer experience an hour and 8 to 10 mil GP an hour. Obviously that does take into consideration that you will get the boots eventually. You're not going to get 8 to 10 mil every hour because the boots are worth a lot of money. For the higher level Vile Bloom, the Liverworts at 110 Slayer are fantastic. They are 550 to 650k experience an hour depending on how efficient you are. I just DPS them down as fast as I can with melee and it works perfectly, and they are 10 to 12 mil GP an hour. So some decent XP and very good money, and a pretty enjoyable task to do overall. And whenever you see those Blaster Fusion boots, that's such a great feeling. Number 9, Shadow Creatures in a Personal Slayer dungeon. Take this one. You want to do Manifest Shadows in a Personal Slayer dungeon, which requires 85 Slayer, as you do need at least more Fran as a Slayer Master to get these. You can get them from Laniakea as well though. These are around 650k Slayer experience an hour, or if you use a Scrimshaw of Sacrifice, these are around 1 million experience an hour. The downside to these is that they have really poor drops, but then that's where the Sacrifice Scrimshaw comes into play. You only lose around 2 mil GP an hour in loot, and you gain 350k experience an hour, making these one of the best XP tasks in the game. Not to mention, if you're using a Scrimshaw Sacrifice, you still get Elite Clues and Shadow Cores. Shadow Cores are a very cool way to train up Divination, especially if you save them for double XP, and Elite Clues are super fun to do, and I love clues. So these make a solid number 9 spot. They would be higher if you could make good money from them, but sadly the money is a bit lacking. At number 8, we have Corrupted Creatures. These are really good from the moment you unlock them to the moment you unlock the highest tier one. You unlock them at 88 Slayer and you can do Corrupted Scorpions. These are 400 to 450k Slayer experience an hour, and for that level, that is huge. These are also 6 to 8 mil GP an hour on task because of the increased key rates and such. When you get to 103 Slayer, you unlock the highest tier Corrupted Creature, and that is Workers. Corrupted Workers are 550 to 600k Slayer experience an hour, which is really nice, competes with a decent amount of the top tier tasks. And it also gives 8 to 10 mil GP an hour. All you do is aggression pot them. I do have a guide on Summoner, and in that guide I talk about Corrupted Creatures and Soul Devourers and give my bars and my setups for them. So I'll leave that guide in the description if you want to know more about, the setup you would use on these. Very good task, very AFK, and definitely a chill one. At number 7, one that is not as chill, Ripper Demons. Ripper Demons require 96 Slayer. These are not AFK at all, and they're one of the lean forward tasks. I like them because of that. I personally like to put 2 in my player-owned Slayer dungeon. I single target them down with melee and use an Enhanced Darklight. Enhanced Darklight is such a good weapon here. Makes killing them very easy. Just use like an offhand Drygor or something with it. You can DPS them super hard with melee so that you kill them before they even do their jump attack. So you kill one of them, and while he's respawning, you go kill the other one that's in your dungeon. You don't have to kill these in your dungeon, that's how I personally do it though. These are 600 to 750k Slayer experience an hour, and they're super fun to do, and it's kind of like a DPS race. And I like that. These are around 4 to 6 mil GP an hour on task, so their GP is lacking a little bit, but the XP and the enjoyment definitely makes up for that for me. Coming in at number 6, we have Gemstone Dragons. Gemstone Dragons have a couple of requirements. They need the hard Karamja tasks, and 95 or higher Slayer to be assigned. 95 Slayer is for the Dragonstone ones, and you always want to do the highest level one you can. At 101 you unlock the highest tier of Gemstone Dragons, and that's Hydrix Dragons. Hydrix Dragons are 1.1 million Slayer experience an hour with a Scrimshaw of Sacrifice. This is definitely one of the biggest XP tasks. The drops are completely terrible. That's why this is an XP only task and you use the Scrimshaw. You're not losing out on much money by consuming the drops here, and you're all about XP when you take this task. The only downside to these, and the reason why they're not higher up, is they're boring as hell in my opinion. They're not super fun to kill, you just stand in melee distance with range and DPS them down. That's pretty damn boring to me, and it's not very engaging at all, and it's still not AFK enough to do other things. So because of that, they have their 6th spot, just because of how good XP they are. At number 5 for me is Nightmare Creatures. These have quite a few requirements as well. They need Children of Marquest, 80 Slayer, and 50 Slayer points spent to toggle them on. Once you've toggled them on, you can get them assigned by people like Morvran and Laniakea. These drop the Nightmare Gauntlets, which are like 24 mil each right now, and they're super expensive and a very, very good glove slot for range. These also give 650,000 Slayer experience an hour. I have a guide on how to efficiently kill these for 650k experience an hour, AoEing them down with melee. I'll leave that in the description. But because of the glove prices and their normal drops, you're expecting around 8 to 10 mil GP an hour killing these. That is a decent amount of money for a Slayer task that also gives 650k experience an hour. No complaints here. Coming in at number 4 is Living Wyverns. To be completely honest, these top 4 are very, very close in how much I enjoy them and how good of a task they are in my opinion. So the next 4 that I say are all probably my favourites. These require 96 Slayer, and you do need Wyrmfire potions when killing them as well for protection against that fire. Wyverns give 600k Slayer experience an hour, and they give 12 to 15 million GP an hour. That is so much GP. Wyvern bones are super expensive, and then they also have the chance of dropping the Wyvern crossbow, the sand, and all of that, and they are big money. They are a little bit difficult to kill, but I think that's another reason why I like them so much. They're very similar to Ripper demons, and you just DPS race them. Kill them as quickly as you can with melee. I have a guide to these in the description as well. If you're interested in learning how to do Wyverns more effectively or anything, you can check that out. On to number 3. And in this spot, we have Soul Devourers. You unlock Soul Devourers at level 105 Slayer, and you can AFK Sulawar Ux. These are around 600k Slayer experience an hour, so very similar to Corrupted Creatures. And they also give 8 to 10 mil GP an hour on tasks, AoEing them down with an aggro pot, melee, and obviously the increased chance of the keys on tasks, etc. gives you a lot of money. But if you wanted an alternative that was more active and less AFK, you can do Crocodile Ux at 111 Slayer. These are more XP and more GP, sitting at 700 to 850k experience an hour, depending on how efficient you are at AoEing them down. You can't fully AFK these as they can hit you super hard, and you do want to utilize your devotion and stuff like that properly against these. So if you want a more relaxed option, you want to do the Ux, but if you want the most XP out of your Soul Devourer task, you want to do these. They're also a bit more GP, sitting at about 10 to 12 mil GP an hour on tasks, which again is amazing. Getting that much XP and GP from the same place is the reason why people do a Summoner for 120 or 200 mil Slayer. Summoner has a very high chance of giving Soul Devourers and Corrupted Creatures. So you can essentially just spam her and get loads and loads of XP and GP this way, and also do it AFK if you wanted to. I have a guide to that in the description, like I stated with the Corrupted Creatures, so if you're interested in Summoner as a Slayer Master, that'll be in the description. In the number 2 spot, we have Creatures of the Lost Grove. You unlock Vine Crawlers at 104 Slayer. They're not the best task in the world, but they're not that bad. You have to single target the Vine Crawlers with range really, and they're 400 to 450k experience an hour with 6 to 8 mil GP an hour on tasks in drops. because on task you get a better chance at Cinderbanes and Elven Ritual Shards. They add a lot into your profit. But when you hit 108 Slayer, you can do Moss Golems. Moss Golems are AoEable, and you use an Odak Coil and a Scythe, and you DPS them down about 4 or 5 at the same time, utilizing your devotion and stuff. They're definitely not AFK, but they are AoEable. I have a guide in the description if you want more help on Moss Golems. But doing this method, it's 750 to 850k experience an hour. But you also make 10 to 15 mil GP an hour because of the price of Cinderbanes being insane. Cinderbanes are over 40 mil each. And you're typically going to get a drop of Cinderbanes every 4 to 5 hours at Moss Golems because you kill so many when you AoE them down. That just makes the GP from this task overall absolutely nutty. Alongside getting insane XP rates, they're just such a good one. And finally, in the number 1 spot, I have put Edimmu. A lot of people would not agree with me that Edimmu is the best Slayer task because of their XP rates. But their GP is absolutely mind-blowing, alongside having decent XP rates and a super fun task to kill. Next to them, the number 1 spot in my books. This is a Slayer task, when I see it, I love doing it. They do have some very high requirements though, and one of those being 115 Dungeoneering makes them not accessible to everyone. They also require 90 Slayer and can only be killed on task. But if you get 115 Dungeoneering, I would 100% recommend preferring these bad boys. They are 400 to 500k experience an hour and 16 to 20 mil GP an hour right now with the cost of blood shards. If you kill them in the correct way, you get about 500 kills an hour. This is 1 blood shard an hour. A blood shard is 12 mil on its own. Then obviously all of the normal drops added on top of that makes tons of money. Their normal drops aren't bad either. The blood shard is just absolutely insane on top of their already good drop table. This is why they're personally number 1 for me. They're also very unique to kill, and they're super enjoyable in my opinion. I have a guide on these as well in the description if you're interested in them. Feel free to click that and check it out. These are just such a good task. If you agree with my list, let me know in the comments down below, and if you disagree, let me know on what your list would be or what you would change and why you would. Are you going for maximizing your XP? Are you going for just money? Let me know your favorite Slayer task and why. Hopefully you did enjoy this video either way, and I'll try and do some more top 10s in the future because a lot of you have asked for them and they're really fun to do. So as always, until next time, see ya.